Hello there. Um, it is just about 20 past 10. Um, I think it's the 15th. I could be wrong there. Not good at keeping track of dates, but just about 20 past 10 in the morning, I think on the 15th. But forgive me if I'm wrong, I've never actually began my video and said what date it was before. Excuse me. But I want to do a talk about. I want to talk about demons. I want to talk about what runs the world and who runs the world. Very important, and this is stuff that I've all discovered on this. What happened to me was an unexpected spiritual awakening. But then after that, I started to do research into other things. Years later, I started to research into different groups and different things at the top of the pyramid of the Illuminati pyramid that is running the world. Could use Illuminati, all different names. Excuse me. All different names and labels for these the group that runs the world, or the force. But what I want to say is that everything is twisted. Things are not what they seem. And what I mean by that is that when you spiritually awaken, you realize that everything is twisted. You realize that they're trying to paint a picture of God and religion, for example, being God, but that's actually the devil. And what they paint as the devil, say the Satanic Church, for example, is actually God. It's all twisted. And someone like, if you were to meet a character like Jesus Christ, he would not be how you've been perceived of him to be like. He would likely work with dark energy. He would likely talk about how to create your own reality. He wouldn't talk how you've been told that he talks, because it's all twisted. It's all been manipulated. And this manipulation came to me in this unexpected spiritual awakening. I did nothing to get a spiritual awakening. I did no spiritual courses. I went to no spiritual teachers. One day I just decided that enough was enough. And it was such an authentic moment, and such a powerful moment, that it manifested a spiritual awakening. What they call a spiritual awakening. And then I started to receive endless knowledge. I started to have endless insights, because what you're tapping into now is what God really is. And God is an authentic power. It's like absolute truth. And it's within everyone. And we're all connected to it, and you could call this force love. That's what truth is, it's love. That's what God is. God does not threaten you, like in religions, you're going to burn in hell or fire if you don't do what he says. Basically, the only thing you've got to do is just be happy. Do whatever makes you feel good. The only rule is to love. That's it. But I want to talk about demonic possession as well. A lot of people, the face that's been painted is that anything to do with sexuality is the devil. And it is completely not true. We are all sexual energy. That's what life force is. To simplify it, just sexual energy. So sexual energy is what we are. But the dark forces, the real dark forces, are terrified of this power. So the real dark forces are, so if you were to so if you're talking about very openly sexually minded people, they're more the light side. They're the life force. They're God. the ones that are against this power, see, the demonic forces know that they're false, you see. And they don't work on the power of sexual energy or life force energy or anything like that. So they can only pull the wool over your eyes. They can only manipulate your perceptions, right? And what they try and do, the demonic forces, is how they control society, is they feed off of fear and anxiety. Right? And so what they try and do is they attempt to manipulate society's minds. They attempt to confuse everybody. That's why you got everyone arguing over which which God is the right God. That's why religion is invented. It's all to confuse your minds. Because what this demonic force feeds off of, the real demonic forces, is it's not interacting with life force energy. Its own life force energy, so it needs your life force energy. But it feeds off of fear and anxiety. Because this force hasn't spiritually awakened yet, you see. It's a bit like when you watch movies and you see all these demonic films. I've watched them, and it's always a situation where the demon hasn't actually moved on yet. The demon in the film has not entered the light. You know, what is the light? The light isn't actually a place. Like heaven is a place, but heaven, you know, everything is just emotions and energies and feelings. So you get to heaven once you wake up spiritually. And these beings and entities choose not to do this. So they're stuck in the dark. If you want to know what that noise is, it's just I've got the washing machine on. Just in case you're wondering what that noise was. But yeah, I just thought I would do a talk about this because yeah, demonic possession does exist, but it's more to do with it's more of a global thing. It's not like in the movies. It's more of a global thing, right? Because the demonic forces feed, like I say, they feed off of fear. And they control everything at the top. And then at the top of the pyramid, you've got the corporations, you've got billionaires, and this is known as the 1%. And they're manipulated by these dark forces. Now, these dark forces do all this, but just because they want your energy. They feed off of fearful energy because that's what makes them live. Because they choose not to, return home to what we're all part of love. The divine creator is just love. And we're all connected to that. And that's really what, when you wake up spiritually, that's really when you enter heaven. Because heaven, you could be in the best place ever. But if you're not feeling good, it's not going to be heaven to you. Heaven is like it's a feeling, a realm that you enter in that spiritual awakening. But these demons, these demonic entities, choose not to do this. So the only thing left for them to do is to feed off of anxiety and fear and aggression. And so what they try and do is they control everything at the top of with the 1%. And then the 1% manipulates everything else. Right? Like, for example, Black Lives Matter just now is funded by the 1%. This is a fact. And this Black Lives Matter movement, this 1% funded organization, is all about deleting your history. Because by deleting your history, they can, in the future with artificial intelligence, you'll only be able to get your history through the internet, and the internet is censored. So it won't be the accurate history, so therefore you manipulate the perceptions. Like I say, that's what the 1%, the demonic force at the top of the pyramid, beyond the pyramid, wants to do. Like in the top, like in this pyramid here, you got the eye. And the eye can be the spiritual eye, but also at the top, the demonic forces, imagine they're just below the spiritual eye. You know, because they're above what you would call a normal human, but they're not above someone who's spiritually awake, because they haven't awakened yet to heaven and love and light. For whatever reason, fear, because these entities are driven by, you got to understand, their emotions that they're driven by is fear. So like, imagine being in a room. I've had this, you know, I've had these situations through this awakening where I could be talking to someone, but because they're in a fearful state, they're not in this awakening yet, they'll fear me. So this is that's an example of how these demons live. They are very, very fearful, and they're very fearful of awakening and love, because especially on this planet, because it means that they can't feed off of that energy anymore through a global awakening. That's why they're desperate to stop an awakening. And that's what the mark of the beast and the and all that is. It's more to do with fear, like I say. It's not really a real thing that they want to do or anything. It's more to get you in anxiety, because that's the only power they have over you, is if you live in fear. So what these demons do is, what they tend to do, I've seen a lot of like people on YouTube that have had spiritual awakenings. I've been watching one woman for years, and these people, she's in like a certain town, and people are like wanting to kill her and stuff, and it's because these demons want to terrify her. Because the people they fear the most, these demonic entities, is the spiritually awakened people. Because they can destroy what they're feeding off of. They can destroy all the hate and the fear that they're feeding off of. And that's how they live, you see. When you listen to demonologists, that's what they're called. They say that they live off of fear and anxiety, but they're terrified of love. Because that basically means the end for their feed, you see. They feed off this fear and anxiety, but love means the end for them. And they think in their perception that they die. But nothing dies. We're all just love. Right? That's the true self. And that's what it takes to get to heaven. If you want to get to heaven, you want to enter the light. It's just about living through passion and love. Right, that's it, and that's how you get to heaven, by being in heaven in this present moment. But you could say demonic entities are lost as well, and that's why they're in so much fear. See, they do all this stuff energetically, not physically, because nothing is physical, but they do this energetically. So by manipulating, if you can manipulate fearful energy, you can keep that energy fearful. And yeah, I just thought I would do a video on this today, you know, because this is really the reason why coronavirus is there, and why everything is there. Everything's manipulated. There is no coronavirus. It was even, doctors have even come out and said that they've never actually proven that a new virus exists. You know, I watched so many doctors on YouTube. Some of them are retired, some of them are not, and they say that it doesn't exist. But the whole thing is to create fear, because they feed off that, because there's a global awakening, right? That's the thing, and that's what they fear the most, is the global awakening. So I just thought I would do a video on this today about what the Illuminati is, and what the 1% is, and what this all means, this picture here. And I think I'm just going to leave it there. For latest updates, videos, etc., please do visit my website at www.lovelikefamily.com. Thank you for watching and listening.